Well, hi everyone, it's Isabella here, and welcome back to another episode on the podcast, I've Got You, where we go into many different topics that I quite literally have got you on. And today's topic we're going to be diving into is one that's actually perfectly timed because we are, really getting into the summer. And I know many people consider summer as like the start of something fun. Everyone's able to do more, go to different parties, everything. But some of y'all are struggling with your confidence and you're like, I want to be confident so bad. I want to become that girl with confidence. I want to feel good within myself, but how do I do it? We're going to be diving into how to become the most confident version of yourself, how to be that girl, how to be the bad bitch that feels good, that is feeling like, oh my God, I can take on the world and more. Confidence in the social settings, confidence just within yourself, confidence within your looks, confidence with your job, all of it. We're going to be talking about this. Now, some of you are like, okay, but why should I listen to you on this? Valid. I am someone that literally several years ago, I did not like myself at all. And then I got into a very unhealthy relationship. And then after I still had this awful, I didn't have a good self-worth. I didn't really feel confident. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like I could 100% take on the world. I was a little bit nervous in some things, right? I'd be scared of certain social events. I would feel nervous to just walk up to somebody. Now, real quick disclaimer I want to make is when it comes to confidence, we also have to have a realistic perspective on it. Meaning this takes time, but having a really good, strong confidence doesn't mean that you aren't going to have days that are off. You know what I mean? Days where you kind of second guess things, you're nervous. The goal is to be as good as you possibly can with this. You can't be perfect, but you can have progress. And so I want you guys to have a very realistic mindset when we are getting into this video. You are not going to develop confidence overnight. You are going to develop skills slowly that can gain and create a very confident version of you and discover a very confident version of you because we all have them. We all have that version of us inside. We just have to pull them out and be able to let that aspect of us shine. So let's talk about some of the first details with confidence. So the first thing we need to talk about is mindset changes and perspectives that you have of yourself. So I know this might sound really goofy and completely overdrawn out, right? I swear all the time it's it's your mindset. It's your mindset. I promise you I will not be wasting your time with this when I'm talking about mindset changes and things that work. I actually made a video previously that I will have pop up over here that talked about 5 mindset changes that I made that truly changed my life and I live by them. Some of these mindset changes I'm going to briefly touch on, but I really recommend you guys watching that video because we go into many. And these are things that I recommend that I don't think embrace toxic positivity that have actually helped me that I live by. This is advice that I take on and that I love. The biggest thing is when it comes to confidence is working on your self-image and working on how you perceive yourself and your comparison to how you think other people perceive you. So one of the mindset changes that I discuss that is really important when it comes to just in life and also with confidence is working on really valuing how you perceive yourself over external validation. This is so significant when it comes to confidence. Many of us from when we were really young and even on have kind of allowed this pattern where we really value how other people perceive us. And whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, because it all happens to the best of us, we have this urge to want people to like us. We want people to like us a lot. And sometimes when we perceive that girl with confidence, we think of somebody where everyone likes them and thinks they're a confident person. The confidence is not stemming out of what other people think of right now. The goal for confidence should be you don't give a fuck what someone else thinks of you. And then whatever happens with that. The confidence is security within yourself. So what I'm really needing you to do right now is start working on breaking down your thoughts when it comes to how you think people perceive you. For example, if you're absolutely devastated, if one person leaves a hate comment on your social media post, or that family member is I don't like those shoes on you. Those look like shit. And they're just being assholes, right? They're they don't have good constructive criticism. They're nah, you don't look good, or you can't do this. You're not capable of this. Little derogatory shit, right? Whether it's friends, family, random, just randoms on social media or in public, right? That is what I need you to start putting value in, is what other people are saying about you. Because most of the time, it truly does not fucking matter. And if we keep prioritizing what other people think about us, then we're completely ignoring the most important person of them all, which is yourself. You need to be valuing how you feel about you. And when you create this crazy, unbreakable self-security and confidence in yourself, there is quite literally not a damn thing someone can say to you that will make you change anything at all. So when it comes to confidence, it's not just with the way that you act, it's also with the way that you think. And it's a super duper key part of it. It is so significant to actually gaining true confidence. This is a very difficult thing, and this has taken me years to develop, but you have to start somewhere. And that is with the way that you think of you. So with one of those mindset changes is, yes, trying to work on valuing how you perceive yourself and how you see yourself over how others see you. And maybe it sounds delusional delusional. Maybe it sounds selfish, but I don't really give a fuck, okay? Because I think you need to be focusing on how you feel about you and work on making that perception of you into a positive thing where you see yourself as someone who is worth listening to, worth being proud of, worth being like, I want to show this aspect of me off. I love how I am with this. I love these characteristics about myself. I love how I look. If you focus on that far more than doing things for the external gaze, you are going to end up so much happier, and that confidence is going to shine through because you're not going to give a rat's ass if someone likes you or doesn't like you. It doesn't fucking matter because at the end of the day, you like you, and that's what's the most important. So how did I even tackle that though? Like, how do we actually tackle ignoring what other people think about me? We break down our thoughts. So first of all, okay, we have to start off with, what are other people saying about me? Is it actually true? Are they someone that I would want to take advice from, right? Are they giving constructive criticism? Are they someone that have my best interests at heart? Do they really care about me? Or are they just a random asshole on the internet? Yeah. Is the perception that they have of me going to quite literally end it all? No, it's not, right? Because if someone doesn't like the fucking pair of shoes that I wear, or if I want to go after this career, if I don't want to fit into society norms, it quite literally doesn't matter what they think about you. So we need to really break down the thoughts whenever we get scared of what other people think of us, because that's what it is, right? We get scared of what other people think of us because we want so badly for people to like us. And I get it. That's like such a natural thing for us to do as humans. We want people to like us and enjoy our existence. But you have to, at the end of the day, accept, and this is, mindset shift number 2, that not everyone is going to like you. And that is okay. You cannot make everyone happy. Everyone has their own preferences. Everyone has their own likes, dislikes, things that they're cool with, things that they're not. You cannot make everyone happy. And if you strive to constantly make everyone happy, you're never going to be happy. That's exhausting to be working so hard to make other people impressed by you when you're not even truly impressed by yourself. And another thing I want to really hit home with this perspective of confidence is there's a lot of people who aren't confident in themselves. And so when you are taking advice, or you are taking that hateful comment, that disrespectful statement, that like maybe your mom that's mean to you, maybe that friend that's mean to you, maybe just a fucking random user on Instagram, when you take that into consideration, you're also taking into the fact that they might not be confident or good with themselves, and that's why they're projecting it onto you and they're being rude to you. And you don't want to set yourself at the limit that someone else has made for themselves. That's quite literally not fair. Our goal, sky's the limit. We want to be absolutely insanely in love with ourselves and be confident in our own existence, from our jobs and so much more. So those are some mindset changes that I really recommend you guys working on, because that is going to change your life with growing confident and becoming a more self-strong individual. The second thing that I think is really key when it comes to confidence is valuing and perceiving yourself as someone who is worth listening to, and perceive yourself as the highest version of you. Okay. So this is something I did for a long time. And I struggled a little bit because I was like, how do I put this into words? I tried to act and I tried to think about what's the best version of me and how do I get to her? Because I'm like, I know she exists. I'm working towards her. How do I get there? So I was like, all right, what am I going to be? Right? I'm going to be put together. I'm going to be like, my dream version of myself is I'm going to feel really good with just talking to strangers. Feel really confident in being by myself in public. Be super confident in wearing whatever the fuck I want, even if people are not dressed up in the way that I am. Just doing what I want to do. Feeling secure, not feeling like, oh my God, the world's going to end. People are looking at me. I'm going to be like, and they're looking at me. What about it? Like, I'm not going to care. How do I get to that point? And so I was like, I have to pretend that I'm that bitch. Like, I have to pretend that I'm in a movie. This is going to sound really silly, but hear me out. I have to pretend that I'm in a movie and I am the main character. I am that bitch. I have everything together. I have to pretend. And that was kind of when I started the fake it till I make it thing. Because weirdly enough, when you keep practicing and pretending and be a little bit delulu about it, you're going to end up becoming that, which is so weird, but it does work, because all you're doing is you're practicing putting yourself in an uncomfortable position in a safe place in your mind. So you feel safer in a way mentally doing this, but you're still kind of doing the similar actions. You're just pretending to be somebody else in the way of like the best version of you. So I was like, okay, what would like best version of Hot Girl Bella do? Like, what would she do? I'm like, oh, she would automatically walk up and just go for it, right? Like, who gives a fuck? Now, some of y'all are like, okay, but what if I embarrass myself? Quick question, okay? I need you to really lock in with me for a second. If you embarrass yourself, what's going to happen? Like, this is what I'm talking about with breaking down your thoughts. What's going to happen? You still got to pay bills. Everyone's going to keep living on. Probably everyone's going to forget because, things like TikTok and whatnot have fried our brains to where we have a short attention span. They're going to probably not remember. The world does not stop. Okay. The sun fucking rises and sets. You're going to be fine. So if you embarrass yourself, okay, whatever. Practice makes perfect. And again, what would the hot girl version of you and that really amazing movie do? Wouldn't give a fuck. She'd keep going on. Okay. And someone has to comment below and tell me if you remember this. I know I'm not the only one that's lived this experience where you would go to a movie as a kid and it's like you wanted to be in the movie and you had this sense of like, oh my God, I want to be that person. I can be that person. That's the kind of perspective you need to have about yourself. What would the best version of you be doing right now in a movie where everything's going right? She knows what she's doing. She's got it under control. What would that hot girl version of you be doing? You got to practice that and be a little bit delusional, honestly, because the fake it till you make it thing does work. I did that for years. That was literally honestly why I started on social media. I was like, I have to fake it. I have to push myself. And that is leading into my next point. In order to get confident, you have to get uncomfortable. And this sucks. This really sucks. Story time. I must tell you on this. Okay. I have a huge fear of the gym. I do. Okay. I started going to the gym technically, I think about a month. My first day in the gym, my boyfriend took me. Okay. He wanted to help me. He wanted to guide me. I had such a fear and anxiety of looking stupid because this was like a totally new area for me. I was anxious. I was nervous. I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going on. I don't know what's happening. What do I do? What do I do? I was so uncomfortable and I had to really sit down with myself. And he was really, really reassuring of me and reminded me of this exact perspective. And I was like, and you're right. He had to remind me and talk to me about the fact that in order for any of this to get normal, you have to be uncomfortable first. And that is the process for anything, whether it's a new job, right? New job, you're not really familiar with it. It's going to be uncomfortable, but guess what? Give it a little bit. You're going to get comfortable. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, but you have to make that conscious decision to work on things you're not good at. And that's what really holds people back, I think, from maybe getting good at something or pushing through something that's a little bit uncomfortable. Getting confident it's that awkward in between stage of learning that new skill because you're scared of what other people think. You don't want to look dumb and it's something that you haven't done. And so that whole gym thing, I was completely terrified. I was freaked out. And then after I'm like, okay, Bella, but guess what? It's literally an inevitable reality now that if you keep going to the gym and if you keep practicing, this is going to become your comfort space. You're going to get good at this. And this is just like with every other skill that you've ever done in your life, right? You weren't born knowing how to walk, but you learned how to walk. You got confident. You weren't born knowing how to talk on the phone, right? But like you weren't born knowing how to do this and being confident. And I know some of you guys have, like, you can think of it right now. Some of you guys have things that you are good at, that you feel safe in. You did not know how to do that at first. You had to gain confidence and practice to be good at it. And right now, I'm going to tell you right now in the gym, I suck. I had to literally squat a fucking, the bar. And I'm like, there's no way, I look dumb. And my partner's like, but you have to start. Everyone starts somewhere. No one has it all figured out. And that's exactly what I want every one of you to remember and think is you are not going to have it all figured out, but you have to get uncomfortable in order to see any change. And that's what holds people back. And I had to realize with my confidence journey, I have to, and even literally now, as I have been practicing confidence for years, the gym fucked me up, but I was like, no, I have to, because if I keep going, guess what? It's going to be something that I achieved. It's like, I did it. I feel good. And now it's one other thing I feel confident in. So you have to embrace the uncomfortableness and find ways to cope with it. So whether that's faking it till you make it, do other things to be delusional as fuck, whether that is other coping mechanisms, figure that out. That's actually leading into my next point is find ways to help yourself feel better in getting confident in any setting. So some of us struggle with confidence when it comes to maybe our looks. Some of us struggle with confidence when it comes to going out, our job, speaking up for ourselves, many aspects of that. And that's really hard because there's so many different categories I can go into, but overall general confidence and working on the art of being confident, I think you need to find things that are going to make you feel good and support you to do the best that you can. So something that I learned about myself is I feel a billion times better when I'm dressed up. That's like my superpower. Some people, that might not work for them. For me, that felt like a shield. Is if I was done up and felt my best, I felt like I could take on the world, Another thing is maybe if I practice social skills and confidence socially with a friend of mine there, I realized I felt like I could do things on my own after a while. Find little things that work to kind of support you on your confidence journey. Being out in public alone was really intimidating. So what I did, for example, to start that was I went to places that I was familiar with by myself. And then I would plan out a date, a solo date completely by myself. And I was like, God, this is really scary. What if I look stupid? What if I look like I got to sit up on a date? And then I was like, who fucking cares? Make sure you're busy and do things to make yourself, who fucking cares? So I tried to set myself up in areas at least that I felt good in, that I was familiar with. So that way I could practice the art of feeling good being by myself. Another way of that is I would be more dressed up and try and be like, okay, what would the hot girl version of me do? And then I would go do it. Like I would do all these tiny little things to support myself to get to the end result that I wanted to. And it started working and becoming easier because practice literally makes perfect. Another thing is if you're out with a friend or friends, try really hard to utilize those moments to push yourself out of your comfort zone in a safe way. So weirdly enough, I felt like I could fuck up easier and it wasn't as intimidating as if I'm with someone. Like for example, a really odd example of this actually, I have really bad driving anxiety and I don't like parking in new places, but if I have a friend with me in that seat, I could quite literally hit a fucking light pole and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be fine. If I'm by myself, it's the end of the world. I really hope when I hit the pole, it kills me. It's scary, okay? If you have a person that's with you, practice doing things that make you uncomfortable. So if it's talking to a stranger, striking up conversations, trying to be like more about talking with random people and just being more upfront about it, practice that when you're around somebody. Weirdly enough, I don't know what the mental thing is with us feeling a little bit more secure with like messing up if someone of comfort is near us, but that's something that I personally did that helped me out. Finding something or little things here and there that kind of supported my goal with being more confident within myself. Now, another thing we need to talk about is body language and the way that you carry yourself. The fake it till you make it process works really well, but it's going to be a lot better when you hold yourself in a way that a quote confident person would be. And I started trying to think about that. Like, what were the things that my ultimate version of myself would do or appear as? Like how would that look like? And so I was like, okay, I need to work on very minuscule things, but body language, right? So I was like, I need to stop doing the whole like making it look like I want to be closed off from people. Like, cause I look like I'm just melting into the wall at this point or melting into the crowd. I don't like that. I'm like, I need to kind of work on like, I am someone that I have things to say. I am somebody who has confidence in who I am and what I'm going to do. And I feel like doing these little details help me out just in confidence in general. So I worked on my posture. I would consciously work so hard on anywhere I'm at. I'm not going to slouch. I'm going to keep myself up unless I'm like in a more like casual setting that I'm just going to goof off. But I was like, I need to pull myself up and display myself in a way of like, I am a confident person because these little details really like bring you out in the weirdest way. I would try and work really hard on when I would talk to people, work on eye contact, not getting so scared of it. And again, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, working on that body language stuff and trying to practice is going to make you so much better and gain you confidence in doing these things. It's not going to be as scary then to walk around in certain public areas. It's not going to be as scary to maybe look your boss in the eye or look at somebody else in the eye. Trying to practice those nonverbal cues that are confident and are a little bit more of what a confident person would do is really, really important. The next thing we need to talk about is conversation and confident conversation. So I realized that the best version of myself was going to be someone that was able to hold conversations with complete strangers. I grew up with my mom, right? My mom's probably watching this, by the way. Thank you so much. So my mom was the type of person that was a very friendly person. Like anyone she would come across, you could just tell that she just lit everyone up. And I love that about her. And I was like, God, I want to be that person someday. Like I want to be that person that I can talk to somebody out of pure thin air. I want to make people feel good about themselves. I want to have it to where people feel like they can talk to me too and just create that like confident safe space. I want to be that type of person because whenever I see those confident people, I swear it's like they act like they know everyone. They don't necessarily. They just are good at talking to people and making people feel good about themselves. I was like, all right, how do I do that? So conversational starters, I think are really, really important to focus on because it gives you more practice to just naturally talk to people. So one thing I started doing to really try and focus on this is I would go out of my way to compliment somebody about something and ask them where they got it from. I think that's so funny about girlhood is like a lot of us like women, we connect off of things that we love and wear or have on us, which is so fun. And so there's so many things that women have on that I like love and are great, like from their outfits to like what their perfume they're wearing. So I was like, I need to try and practice the art of conversing and making friends. And that's my conversation starter. So every time I would pick something about them that I loved and I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, you, like, I am utterly obsessed with the sweater that you're wearing. And like, I meant it. I'm not just saying this for shits and giggles, by the way. I don't recommend that. I am saying like practicing, like making people feel good. I think it's going to also make you feel better with conversing with other people and just starting conversations. And every time I do that, I swear I get into the longest conversations with people. I will be at a cash register checking out in fucking H&M or in Ulta. I'll be more vocal of the things that I notice of people. And I think it just like creates a connection immediately, which is so good. And I'm like, that's what the best confident version of myself would do. Be able to do these kinds of things. And every time I make new friends, I make new acquaintances, and then we have little conversations and blurbs. And I think it's so fun, but it's also practice for me because I feel better doing that now. And oddly enough, it led me to doing that with my own partner right now. I was practicing my confidence so much that I was able to see this person out in public and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to you now. No fear, no nothing. That's exactly how I was going to do it. And I think these practices of finding ways to start conversations, work on your body language, work on your mindset, all these things are going to assist with confidence socially, just internally, and working on every aspect of you to become the most confident version of you. So I know some of you are like, well, how do I practice confidence? What do I do? Put yourself in positions where you have to do it and practice. Don't bitch out. You need to be in situations where you need to. So take everyday situations and try and use them to your advantage. For example, if you're going to go out and grab coffee, say something to the barista. Go out of your way to say something a little bit more than you usually would. Just try it. Maybe if you're dating, go out of your way to try and approach somebody and not just wait for them to approach you. And again, follow the strategy that I did. Immediately compliment something and just be like, again, this is what would the best version of me do? What would that hot girl, really iconic version of me do? Oh, she would go up and say a really good compliment to them and start trying to talk about and ask them questions. Like, go for it. And the worst thing that can happen is, again, someone could say no. Oh no, no is a full sentence. That's totally okay. But the worst thing that can happen though is it's just a lesson and then you just get better at it, right? So if you think you embarrass yourself or you look awkward, that's okay because you have to start somewhere. I am telling you right now, I have literally embarrassed myself so many times and I just don't give a rat's ass now because I'm like, well, I had to start somewhere. But utilize everyday situations to practice so that way it's a lot easier in the future when you are in a more awkward situation. So if it's your commute to work maybe, and you're next to a stranger, maybe on the train, maybe it's talking to someone at the cash register, maybe it's talking to one of the mom friends that's at the PTA meeting that you've never spoken to before. Like find creative ways. And another thing I think that will help out with this is think about how you would like to be approached. This is just kind of how I thought, like, oh, how would it be nice for someone to approach me? And I'm like, fuck it. Okay, that would be nice for me to perceive. Let me try that with someone. Just go for it. But utilize your everyday mundane stuff to try and practice more because it allows you to inch towards more scary situations, which you can gain confidence in. So the more that I would do everyday errands and go out of my way to converse with people, compliment, make jokes in the damn aisle 3 of groceries, the better I felt in other awkward situations that I wasn't familiar in, that I wasn't that comfortable in because I was like, well, I've done this much. I can keep going. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be okay. But last but not least, final things that I need to say when it comes to confidence is do things that make you feel good and are the best version of yourself to allow you to do all these things. So dress up, wear things that make you feel good, take care of yourself in a way that makes you feel good about you. Start small, work your way up, make little goals for yourself. Like, oh, today I'm going to try and strike up a conversation with one stranger. I did that. Okay, let me try and do this type of look at things that you want to do and become and make goals surrounding those types of situations so that way you can become the ultimate version of yourself. And at the end of the day, though, it does come down to your mindset and the perspectives that you have on yourself. Because if you don't have good perspectives about yourself, it is going to be harder to do other things externally. So you are going to have to work internally because it's not always about you being able to confidently speak to somebody else in public. It's also about you feeling secure enough with yourself to where if you talk to that stranger in public and if it goes bad or if it doesn't go as how you want, or maybe you embarrass yourself on accident, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. That internal belief system on yourself and the way that you perceive you is the most important. So I recommend starting there internally and work your way way outward. Work on how you feel about yourself. Work on how you love yourself. Work on how you view the way your unique characteristics and the way that you are as a person. Learn to love that, so that way when you do go out into the rest of the world and try and become that much of a confident person socially and internally, no matter what happens, you know at the end of the day who you are and you feel good with that. Because confidence, again, it's not just about being the life of the party or being the one who can talk to anyone. It's also somebody who, no matter what happens, is resilient and feels good in themselves and feels that they are worthy of love and good things and feels strong within themselves and their own personality and who they are as an individual. It's a process. It takes a lot, but trust me, you can get there. You just have to keep practicing. And one other detail that I do want to give as well is really, 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 and I mean really, work on talking good and speaking good into you. Work on counteracting any negative thoughts that you have about yourself, your appearance, the way that you act. This is another reminder that I have to give you is our own self-talk is truly, I think, what holds us back so much. And so if we take the time to immediately, without fail, get rid of that self-talk, the second you say something bad about yourself or you kind of diminish your capabilities, I'm not good enough for that, or I can't do that, I'm not capable of it. You have to stop it immediately and say no, and say the exact opposite. No, I am capable of that. No, I am confident enough to do this. No, I am working on this and I'm not perfect, but I'm getting better. Immediately changing that self-talk is going to help you a lot with your confidence journey and build your way from just being externally scared and internally scared to internally more sure and confident to externally more sure and confident with yourself. So that was it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was able to help you guys out with your confidence journey. I know it's going to take a lot, but you know what? You're going to get there. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to also leave a 5-star review on Spotify. I would so appreciate you. Also, if you guys have any personal experiences with confidence or anything of that matter, please comment it down below. Or if you have any questions, I'm sure that we can all converse in the comment section, which would be so nice because, we're all learning from each other, which is really great. And I will see you guys in the next video. And don't forget that I've got you. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.